So I've been trying to make a little bit of progress on the Jawa Beast. First of all, I've removed the seat, which has revealed many secrets. For a start, one of these holes has been drilled out for a larger bolt for some strange reason. Someone's obviously tried to slam it shut whilst it's still up on the mechanism, but you can see the little mechanism here. So if that was bent, that's supposed to be at that sort of angle, so you can see where they bent it right at the bracket. But underneath here is the little mechanism that keeps the seat up, so that's in the upright position, and then to close the seat you lift up this little thing, which they haven't done. So I'm going to take that off. The bracket's a bit twisted and the hinge is a bit ruined, so I'm going to modify that back to how it should be by bashing it flat with a hammer, but that is a job for another time. So next job, here comes a lorry. There we go. So next job, I've removed the carb. There is the throttle slide. I will have a look at that pin as well at some point. And here's the throttle the carburetor assembly, which comes complete with a little drip tray and everything. I'm going to try and get the carb cleaned today, but I'm up against it time-wise, so we'll see what I can do, and hopefully that should mean that it runs correctly. Here's the drip tray removed with an 8mm spanner. Needs a good clean. That has some in it, but barely enough pressure to get it out, and there's even less juice in there, so that's what we're working with. First thing I've noticed is the gasket has what would appear to be quite a severe air leak. Is the other half of it stuck on there? No. So that might have been part of it. It'll have been taking in too much air because part of the gasket's missing. These gaskets are 54p, so I might either make one now before I put it back together, or more likely I'll just buy one, because why not? I haven't quite worked out how to get this airbox off yet, and I also haven't worked out how to get it open. Obviously that's the seam. Inside here is an actual proper filter element, but we shall see. I thought there was some writing on it then, but there isn't. Right, anyway, I'll get taking this apart. Crusty. So I want to try and make sure that I don't take this out of adjustment. So that screwdriver's too big, really. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try to do the screwdriver again. 5. 5 and a bit turns in. I believe that's the idle screw, but I'm not sure without taking a closer look, without holding a camera. Yeah, that looks like idle screw to me. And then the other two are not actually screws, they're jets. So that'll be the main jet, that'll be the idle jet. So I'll whip those out with both hands, if you excuse the phrase, and we'll go from there. So here is the idle jet. Don't know how well you can see this. Focus, you bugger. That's fine. Main jet. That one's surprisingly fine as well. So I'm going to try and clean out the bits where the needles go. That's the needle from the throttle slide in there. The needle from the top of the float goes in that little seat there. What I was going to tell you, there wasn't a gasket on top of the float bowl, so it could have just been air leaks that were causing the problem from the float bowl gasket and that gasket. Or it could have been all the smegma in the bottom of there. So I will try and clean everything as best I can, put it back together. I'm going to have to order the gasket for the top of the float bowl anyway, so I might as well order a gasket for this. Okay, so I'm now out of carb cleaner, so I'm going to leave the carb off until I got the gaskets and everything to rebuild it. The top of the flow, come here, top of the float is dented in. It looks like it might be supposed to be like that, but possibly not. That would obviously affect the height of that needle. A new float's £4 something, so I'll order one of those as well. So for now, I'm going to clear this away and concentrate on this seat bracket. So I've managed to bash it a bit flatter. I've got a way to go yet, but basically I'm using this spanner as an anvil and then just hammering it. But it's a two-hand job and I can't do it, and I've got nowhere to put this, so I can't film it, but you can see where I'm going with it. Okay, I think for now this may be as good as it's going to get, so we'll try that. So I've brought the carb to work, and I'm going to clean it with some bus cleaner, G101 it's called, just to get that sediment out the bottom of the float bowl. And now someone's going to start a bus. I'm going to use the Team Overkill steam cleaner on it. That'll do it. Lovely, I should be able to get the rest with carb cleaner. Okay, so the last video said that I'd have a video out on this today actually. It's now late in the evening and the video is not out yet, as you can see. In fact, I've only just finished cleaning the carb. There's in the inside of the float bowl. It's not perfect, especially the outside, but I lost the end off a cotton swab in the fuel intake, so it took me a while to get that out, and I thought, do you know what, I think the outside and the wide bore bits are pretty much clean enough for me. So I'm going to reassemble this and then I will try it on the bike. I've also cut a gasket, which I currently can't find, but it's an absolute, oh there it is, absolute beauty. Hand cut with nail scissors. Yeah, that's the sort of quality we come to expect from Phil's Turkey Chasers. Also, while we're on, this is the original float. I haven't managed to order any of the bits yet, just because time, but the needle at this end was really crusted up with crud. Sorry about my horrible fingernails, by the way. Extreme close-up of the horridness. Yeah, so I've cleaned the needle both ends with one of the wife's scouring sponges. I'm sure she'll be very pleased about that. And some choke and carb cleaner, which is the cheap stuff, but it's all I can get in the village I live in. So yeah, there we are. We have the components ready to go back together for a carb. This is the airbox. It's actually glued on at the joint with the carburetor, which I'll undo shortly. Also, the top of the airbox was glued on, which explains why I couldn't get into it with extreme ease before. Inside, there's the rather mucky looking filter, and that filter element is held on by these two rather stretched and slack rubber bits here, which pull this plate onto the top. So I'm going to have to try and replace those, and I haven't yet found anywhere that sells them. So I'm thinking of other options, basically. I'm probably going to go with some silicone fuel line, which is a bit stretchy, and maybe knot it, or put a ball bearing or a bead into it or something, I don't know. We'll find a way. So here's the filter element. It says to wash it with petrol, but I think it could do with a good sucking out first. Luckily, I bought my wife this beast for Christmas as an early Christmas present, so aren't I the old romantic? Not sure how effective that was. I think I'll need a new one of those. Okay, so it's a couple of days later, and I'm a bit frustrated that I haven't been able to do anything with this carb. I want to put it on the bike and get it started. So anyway, I've reassembled it, as I think you saw before, and I just thought, well, I'll watch back on the old video and well, you know, I'll watch back on the bits I've already recorded, and I'll work out where the idle screw should be. So it was 5 and a bit, so that's where I've put it. And then, for some reason, I was taken to re-cleaning these little passages here, which go to the jets if you follow the channels. So I thought, I'll just have another look at the jets. And what I have discovered is, and I can't believe I missed it before, these jets, can we focus on them? So this is the main jet, and I checked you could see through there completely fine. Massive jet passage, isn't it? Dumbass. It comes in from that end and sprays out the sides. So the actual jet nozzle is in the end of here. And on the main jet, can you see this? I've got a needle, and you can see if I get it in the hole. This is difficult to do. Right, there you are. Straight through. The idle jet, bearing in mind it was having trouble idling, clogged. So, I think we may... Ow! As well as stabbing myself through the finger with the blunt end, which isn't that blunt, of a needle, we may have also found why it wasn't idling very well, because the idle circuit had basically been taken out by the fact that the jet was clogged. So, I've been picking away at this for a while with a needle, it's not working, and I don't really want to widen the hole and take it out of adjustment. So, day before yesterday, I dropped something on a can of brake cleaner and just basically it split the can. So let's use the Team Overkill method. I've put it in a baby milk tin. Let's just go for it. You can soak overnight. I might as well soak the other jet as well overnight. Give it a quick clean out tomorrow. I'll maybe show you how that looks. I'm disappointed I couldn't get all the flakes of baby milk out of the bottom of the tin. I tried hoovering it and everything, but yeah, so hopefully that should eventually make it soft enough for me to pick all the crap out there, and it can't do any harm to the other one either, can it? So we'll leave that overnight. Right, so I've cleaned it out, finally, got the jet clear. Just to show you, this passage here is the main jet, which comes out of that nozzle at the bottom there, and I can show you, there we are, definitely clear. The passage next to it, just here, is the one for the idle jet, which is here, and it should go through the jet and then out of, can you see that little hole right at the bottom there? Tiny, tiny hole, just next to the shadow there. I was certain that'd be blocked, but it isn't. You see a little splooge coming out of it there. So this is ready to rock, basically. So what we've done is, just to recap, this should sort the air leak. I didn't end up buying one in the end because I was going to buy it in my shipment of parts from the Czech Republic, and I haven't managed to order that yet for various reasons. So air leak sorted. The float may have been sticking with all the gunk on the bottom of it, which I've cleaned off, and I've cleaned the idle jet, and the main jet didn't really need cleaning that much, but you know, I've given it a going over anyway. It should run, hopefully, really well, but only time will tell, and I don't have time at the moment. So tomorrow maybe I might get a chance to start it. I suspect it won't be for a week or so yet. So I've treated the beast to 4 litres of fresh petrol, and I'm just draining the other stuff out now. Rather than waste it, let's wash the air filter element in it and get some of that dust and crap out. Okay, this started off clear and I've been shaking it round and it's basically turned to sludge at the bottom. So I think we may have done a good job there. Still not perfect, I still might need to replace it, but it's better than it was, so that's the main thing. It's a good job you kept all those baby milk tins, said my wife. Never. The moment of truth, first start with a freshly cleaned carb. Okay, that was it. Brilliant. Well, I've got to say I'm pretty pleased with that. How awesome is that? Let's try again. Just like that. I think it needs the idle adjusting, but I can manage that. Low beam, high beam. Let's try the brake lights. Okay, so I don't think the brake light switch works, but we can manage that. So hello and welcome to the final section of this video, which is known as the montage of failure. Unfortunately, that is not my last failure to launch in this video. So firstly, she sounded a bit four-strokey in places, and I suspect that the accelerator slide needle is at the wrong setting, so I'll have to adjust that. I also suspect that there may be a complete lack of fluid in the clutch. That's a negative, Ghost Rider. Let's put it in gear and try again. I hope it's just a lack of fluid in the clutch anyway, because the other two options are that the clutch is broken, I'm too fat, or it's just a complete lack of skill on my part. Possibly a combination of the three. So, as I do the backwards walk of shame one last time, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I don't know when that'll be because I put an unrealistic target on it last time, so I'm not going to do that again. I think it'll be a video about clutches. Cheers, guys!